Hello and welcome to the F1A podcast. I'm Matt,
I'm Levi.
and this is America's unofficial official F1 podcast. Now, still on video. This is episode number 3. Welcome.
Yeah, all about Bahrain.
Yeah, holy. That was a crazy
I
race.
say did not disappoint. It was everything I was looking for.
Especially after Suzuka.
Yeah.
It was so much fun, and I had a hard time keeping up with everything. I already kind of talked to you about that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to relax.
Yeah.
I feel like it's already too scripted. I know it's an intro.
Yeah, I mean the intro has to be.
Yeah. Okay, I will just go to. This works. This works. How are you today, Levi?
I'm doing very well.
Good. Yeah, so over the weekend, there was the Bahrain race. I guess, okay. Or do we make a separate video for F1 for Dummies?
Yeah.
Or do we? Okay,
Yeah.
We can do that one after this one.
Yeah.
Because I would just like to kind of like go into it and just kind of explain for anybody that is new, that does happen to come across a new podcast, possibly on Instagram or YouTube or anything like that. That's just looking to get into F1, and I think not a lot. I haven't seen a lot of videos like that, at least from the other podcasters in the F1 community. Yeah, it's a spider.
Ooh. F1 for Dummies from Dummies.
Yes, exactly. Because by no means do we know what we're talking about. No. Definitely going to be starting to. I want to look more into the technical side of things.
Yeah.
I want, we had our first comment on Threads, and they were asking they'd like to see a podcast have the brake or like seeing who is latest coming into the corners for braking and who's testiest on the throttle. And I think it would be cool to kind of get into stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, there's some that are like obvious, like.
Right. I mean, like, obviously, Max Verstappen, he's braking super late. You can't not brake late and be, without being. You can't be a 4-time world championship. Oh my God. You can't be a 4-time world champion without knowing how to brake late and get on the throttle early.
Right.
And know where to find brake.
It's also part of his strategy to get that apex first.
Oh, yeah, every time.
Because then.
We've seen it with many collisions.
After that, everything doesn't really matter. Like, if you get that apex first, you got the
turn, technically. Yeah. I mean, unless something goes awry. But, yeah, I mean, unless it goes awry, then as long as you have the apex, you have the turn. Yeah. But, I mean, we've seen it countless times the way that is not the case. And,
the switchback can happen.
The switchback can happen, or a collision happens, and the person that did have the apex ends up getting taken off. Which, yes, it is part of Max's strategy, but
it's work.
But it's dirty. Everybody thinks it's dirty. It's not dirty. It is within the rules. He breaks, lets out, breaks again.
He's playing by the rules, but
on the line of the rules. But I mean, it's the same as his car. He's on the line of it's it's potentially he can't bring it too far over, or else he's gonna. He plays the rules as he drives the car, if you ask me, which I really like.
But now we're getting into this. This is supposed to be in the next video.
Shit. I'm sorry, I got off on a tangent. I love Max Verstappen is a genius behind the wheel. But yeah, so Bahrain, I mean, it was fun. I'm gonna pull up the practice.
The McLarens were really ahead in everything.
I mean, they were at the end.
No,
they weren't dominating, were they?
FP1, Lando was first. All the rest of the,
or just
by the end.
Yeah,
and then Oscar was first in all the rest of the practices and the qualifying and the race. Right. So I mean,
and yeah, I mean, there was a lot of great racing from a lot of people that I wasn't necessarily expecting it within practices as well. Given, I mean, I'll put Isaac Hadjar into that category, even though I think at this point we should be expecting him to be pulling things like that. I think he's doing a great job. And he's really, where was it in the race? I don't know. But yeah. I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead here, but practice wise, I mean, he's got the form.
Yeah.
Obviously he's practicing. Not everybody is going to be going as fast.
Yes. But I mean, seeing a racing bull like at any point in qualifying or practices or anything, seeing them hit, go into first and then lose to some of the top teams, or getting into fifth or whatever, it's not something that we're used to seeing.
Not at all.
And I'm happy that Hadjar has the chance. And I don't know, I have many questions about Red Bull. Well, they're the racing bulls, because it's like we talked about in the episode that we didn't post, how you didn't really want to see Daniel Ricciardo come back. You feel like he's had his time, and but really, and people say he's lost his fight and everything, but he hasn't had a fighting car since when he was in a Red Bull. I mean,
it's true.
I mean, Renault was not a fighting car.
They were a midfield car at the time. He bailed out too soon. Well, maybe it was too soon. Maybe it wasn't. I mean, obviously, they never progressed the way that they thought they were at the time.
Yeah.
McLaren was right before they really started coming into their form.
And then the Racing Bulls, he never had a fighting car. You can't say he lost his fight when he never had a chance. Like,
I think he lost his fight in the sense that he got so depressed with not having that car anymore and not being able to. He couldn't rely on the car as much as he did with Red Bull. Yeah. Because all these teams he was jumping, and I think that not that he lost his drive for Formula One itself, but that he was tired of it, and the further you go down that hole, you're not going to be able to get back up to a top team.
I mean, if I'm in a trash car for 5 years and everyone's put me down and everything because I'm not excelling in this car that it's out of my control.
Right.
I mean, there's no way that I'm going to be all up and happy all the time either.
No, for sure.
I don't know. I'm a fighting case for Daniel.
Oh, I mean, I would love to see him again just because he's the personality. Yeah. But let sleeping dogs lie. We have so much talent coming up, which is what I was going to get into next. And having the experienced driver is a great thing, which Cadillac is looking into Checo.
Yep.
Which I think is deserved.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely proved himself over those years with Red Bull when the second car was actually good.
Yeah, and obviously last year wasn't great, but it was. Yeah. Was it Sergio's fault?
I mean, it's falling into this year where you're trying all these different drivers in the same car and it's still trash.
Exactly.
So you can't really blame it on.
No. So practice one, we saw a lot of reserve drivers coming into the senior driver spots, primarily throughout the teams. I mean, how many reserve drivers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 reserve drivers out of 10 teams. And they did well. I mean, looking at it, you got Lance Stroll there throughout the right, kind of splitting the bunch up. But we saw Hirakawa earlier in the season, and he had a great practice earlier in the season.
How did he do in this one?
He got 17th.
Because this one was in a Haas. In the last one, he was in an Alpine.
Yeah. I think that's right.
Yeah.
That's
he was in for doing.
Yeah. And he did great in the Alpine. And 17th is pretty good too. Especially for the Haas.
First time driving it.
Right. The Haas is obviously not the easiest car to drive. We saw Esteban Ocon go and hit the wall in Q2. Ollie Behrman. Did he qualify last? No.
Yeah. No.
Yes. Yeah. Him and Stroll were in the back row. So they obviously didn't have a great start. Went on to have a really good race for the both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ollie was up in 6th at one point, obviously between the pit stops and everything, but Ocon, he finished where? I have to.
Ocon was 8th. Behrman was 10th. And
Yeah.
Behrman was the top rookie.
Oh, yeah.
Antonelli.
That's right. Antonelli, he was doing so well. I was hoping that little Kimmy was going to do great.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I mean, he had a good race. He had a great overtake on Max Verstappen. And he, pushed the limits quite a bit in the race, but with track limits. But I thought overall he had a good race. Every race, I think we're seeing these rookies this year. Like, they're getting better and better.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And they're changing order of who's where.
Right.
And I love that.
Yeah. I mean, we're consistently seeing Ollie Behrman out-qualifying Esteban Ocon. And, well, maybe not out-qualifying, but I think out-qualifying. No, excuse me. There was Australia. Obviously, that was rough. But, and then this last race. But he still raced really well.
I mean, both of the Haas's are doing well. I mean, China, they were both in the points with those disqualifications.
Yeah. I think it's pretty even between the two of them. But I think a lot of the senior drivers on the team with rookies are kind of like peeing their pants right now.
Yeah.
We were seeing Doohan ahead of Gasly in the race. We were seeing
Doohan was doing so well.
He was. Antonelli was ahead of Russell for a little bit.
Maybe during the pit.
Yeah, after the pit stops, obviously. But Antonelli is right on Russell.
Yeah.
Behrman and Ocon are constantly switching back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it's so much fun. And what the years to come are super exciting.
Yeah. Here's a question. Do you think that Hadjar was doing better because Yuki was his teammate? Because since Liam has become his teammate, I mean, he's still my favorite rookie. I still like him a lot. And I just feel like when him and Yuki were going at it, and they'd be like 5th and 6th in like a practice or something. But I feel like since Liam's been in there, it's just kind of been like falling back a little bit.
I mean, given it's only 2 races.
Yeah.
I'm sure that Yuki did provide some sort of insight and experience level for Hadjar that Lawson isn't going to be able to do. But I don't know. I think that Hadjar just may have had a couple of rough races. We saw him pit right away in this last one. I wasn't watching him at that point, so I don't know what happened there. Whether he just didn't like the tires he was on or what. But no, I think that we're going to see a lot more of Hadjar. And teammate-wise, I don't think it's going to affect him much. I think he's really focused on himself and proven himself, and he wants that seat.
Mm-hmm.
The Red Bull seat.
Yeah.
Maybe Yuki leaves after this year. Maybe Max leaves.
Yeah.
I mean, he took 7th, 6th. Into that
from Gasly there right at the end.
Yeah. I couldn't.
It would break my heart if I was Gasly.
Yeah, but I mean, still a great finish for Gasly. Just, he started 5th. It would have been cool to see him up in the top 5. But I mean, if Max is going to be sitting in the 6s, 7s, I don't think Red Bull will happen next year.
It's hard because I think that right now their focus is so much on that second Red Bull seat.
Is it though? They say it is. They say that they're going to be more focused on it. But will they? We
see Yuki. He's going up.
Yeah, he took
2 places ish every race.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's showing. Of course, Yuki is getting more comfortable in that car, but you also have to say, okay, Sergio wasn't getting 9th place at the end of last year. I think that they're definitely doing something with the car, and
I'm sure
accumulated with Yuki getting more
ready
with that seat.
They're definitely. I mean, they're going to need. I think they saw last year they won the Drivers' World Championship, but they got third in constructors.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to obviously work on the second car and making it more drivable for the second driver, but there's no way that they're not going to be able to focus on Max still.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot not focus on your world champion.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll see how it goes in the races to come. He was complaining the entire time about his brakes, whether it was qualifying practice. He couldn't turn in the front end.
Yeah.
I
mean, I think that at a certain point, right now, we need to just start lights out and away we go. This is where we're starting. Okay. People got great starts, Oscar keeping first. I mean, doing what
Lando.
But little cheater. Hey, shut up.
Cheater.
I'm back on the horse. I told you.
No, that affected nothing, like placement wise, gaining those 3 places right off the start. He just had an absolutely fantastic start.
Yeah.
He served his penalty. That's all there is to it. And he still did amazing.
Yeah.
They really held control of that race, and they weren't the ones to respond. They were the ones making other people respond to them. Which that's the position you'd rather be in, instead of having to, okay, now we have to go catch Verstappen, or now we have to, Lando was fighting off Charles was fighting off Lando the entire time, but Lando's not so. I don't think Lando was focused on Charles per se.
But he also just took too long to pass Charles.
Yeah,
and then he had a chance on George for the last 2-3 laps,
right?
But you're not giving yourself enough time.
No, and after pushing for so long behind Charles in dirty air, his tires were going to be spent at that point.
Which
probably not spent, but
I mean, Russell was on softs.
But the Lando said that softs were the mega tire.
Exactly.
TYRES. I don't know, man. That drives me.
Tigress.
I don't know if that's just a UK thing or what. If anybody is listening and knows, please let us know. We're just a couple of schmucks from the Midwest.
And we have to address Red Bull's pit stop problems.
Was it just Red Bull? I thought multiple people were having these issues with the lights you're talking about.
Yeah, so multiple people might have been having them, but it seemed like, especially when they were showing it on the camera, it was like affecting Red Bull so much.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm primarily noticed on Red Bull. I mean, I guess
because Verstappen, they got the tires on. He pulled forward and saw that the lights were still there, and then stopped again.
Yeah, no,
and then had to pull out.
Yuki
did the same.
Yeah,
yeah,
similar thing.
Yeah. And I think it happened to Max twice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's a technical malfunction or if it's a pit crew mistake, but those are vital seconds.
Right.
You can't, especially when you're, he had Gasly less than 2 seconds behind him. In the end, obviously, he overtook him on the last lap, but it's not like he was in a comfortable position to be able to afford to lose 1-2 seconds and let's pit stop.
I don't know, and how good could have Yuki gone up,
Right. I mean, 3 places? He started in 12th, I thought.
Yeah, and there was a point in the race where they were like, we're not even showing the race leaders, like the people in the points, because within the top 10, no one has DRS.
Yeah.
No one's even close enough. And so we would just see this train of 4 or 5 cars within 20 meters of each other, just fighting, and I was like, this is awesome, and of course I wanted to see the orange and black, McLaren, but at the same time I was like, okay, if they're not fighting, show me this,
right?
And it was cool. So.
Yeah, they did. I don't know if you said this, but they didn't even show Piastri crossing the line.
No, it was on the small screen.
Yeah, it was on the small screen. That's such bull.
It was bull, but at the same time, it's like, do you want to show someone who's 15 seconds ahead going across the finish line, or do you want to see this? Lando and Russell were fighting.
Yeah, I get that. I do. And it could have been a last second overtake, which would have been amazing.
Yeah.
But the guys, you show the winner.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like Oscar's kind of gotten shafted with half of his wins. He has 4 wins now, and his first win was ruined because of team orders.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Second one is ruined because the F1 TV director sucks.
Yeah.
Like, and this is going to lead me into a whole nother tangent but first I want Ferrari did really, I mean, Charles kind of, well, he started 4th and ended 4th.
Okay.
Right?
My prediction.
It was so close. It was so close.
I wanted it so bad. Like, as much as I wanted Lando to pass.
Yeah.
I wanted Russell to go way back. I wanted Charles in there, but
Hamilton, I mean, he came up from 9th place, got 5th.
Yeah. Driver of the day.
Driver of the day. He seemed happy with the car.
He did.
You know, he was happy. We saw him on the radio, heard him on the radio saying, you know, great pit stops, guys. It was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Will we see more of this? Only time will tell.
Yeah.
Is it the start? I'm sure all of Team LH is like, oh, this is the reign. This is gonna be it. This is the 8th championship. You know, he's coming into form in the car. Maybe. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah. I mean, I'm cheering for the guy. I mean, you said he was washed. So.
Yeah. I did. And you know, until he shows me otherwise, I'll stick by it.
Yeah.
And if he shows me otherwise, I will eat my words. And I'm sure he will. You know, you don't just lose the ability. You're a 7-time world champion. Arguably 8th, in some circles. But you don't just forget how to win.
No.
You know, he knows. I think he just needs to get the right car now. When he's younger, he probably just was a little bit more adaptable, and now it's harder since he's 40 years old.
I think a lot of these drivers, like Lando at the end of last year, I mean, he was winning quite a few races. And I think that once you become just so used to not having to pass anyone, you know, you're in first place. And a lot of times that's where Lewis was.
Right.
And a lot of times
Fernando called him out on it.
And a lot of times that's where Max was.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing some of these people who weren't in first place who are there, and these people who don't know what to do. And people are saying that they're washed, but at the same time, it's like they have to completely change their driving styles.
Yes.
In different apexes, having to use DRS to get around people. I don't know.
But to contradict that, they still know how to do that.
Yeah.
And they, you know, Max Verstappen, Brazil, last year, 17th to 1st in the rating. I played Brazil on the sim last night.
Uh-huh.
In the sun. It's not easy to pass on that, Matt.
Yeah.
And when we were talking about our favorite tracks this past weekend, I was talking about the 3 super fast right turns on Suzuka. It's actually Brazil the entire time that I was talking about. That is one of my favorite tracks.
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, in Lewis Hamilton has showed in the past, he's gone from 20th to 1st.
Yeah.
Max Verstappen, I believe, has done the same.
But
it's there.
But you also have to say back then,
you do have to take strap.
They were in the best car.
Oh, yeah.
At the time.
I mean,
not Max last year in the rain, but
no.
when we're talking about Lewis Hamilton, that's when he was in that Mercedes that was going insane.
And I don't know if the time that I'm referring to was in the W11, but if it was the W11, that is one of the best race cars ever made.
Yeah.
Disappointing weekend for Williams, man.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Sainz got a bad break with Yuki's back end sliding into the side.
And catching the penalty for it on top of it.
Yeah.
Is it conspiracy? Is it because he said that the fine for his shit was shit? And they were like, oh, look at this, boom, penalty.
And a fine to Albon for that practice.
Yeah. He ain't paying him. Obviously, accidents happen. It's just hard I want Sainz to do well.
Yeah.
And I want Albon to do well. He has had a good start of the race. A good start of the season.
The first race without points.
Yeah.
That's
right. Yeah. And 12th is still a decent finish, but
I mean, especially when at the very beginning of the year you're looking as a midfield team.
Right.
And you're saying we're in
coming
the fourth
last.
We're in the fourth race of the season and this is your first time not getting points.
Right.
That's
no,
crazy.
It is. And while yes, it was disappointing, they are still doing fantastic. I just really hoping Carlos can have something here soon to like, you hear so much about all the work that he's been putting into Williams since he's gotten there, and you just want to see some of the results work for him. And obviously Albon has put in years of work with them. But I mean, the turn happened with Sainz, given James Bowles, this has been his plan for years.
Yeah. But I feel like Sainz was working so hard at the beginning of the year, like before, right when he got to Williams, he was working hard for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that it's essential for him to not lose his drive for that, because we know that Williams is looking to 2026.
Yeah.
And it's important for him to not say, okay, the team is looking for 2026, so I'm going to not put in the work that I have already been putting in right now,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
it's a good look at it.
There's a point where you're not seeing the results that you want, and I don't know. I feel like Sainz he could do better right now.
Right.
And I just want to see it, and I know that we should see it.
Yeah. I think it's, only a matter of time. I've got high hopes still, but just very, very depressing to see week in and week out. Which the Carlos Sainz topic kind of, and Nico Hulkenberg getting disqualified, same thing as one of the Ferraris there in China for the plank wear, I believe it was. Lots of teams just getting hit with a lot of stuff this weekend.
And penalties after the race was over. I was like,
yeah.
We see the end result, but it could not be the end result.
Right.
Just make the decision and get it over with. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
It's, and I thought about, and I talked to you about making a video about this, but I think we should just talk about it in a podcast. The FIA is okay. Like, it's so frustrating for me because
especially like Williams.
Well, it's not even about the teams at this point. This is a multi-billion-dollar sport.
Yeah.
Corporation, company, the FIA and then F1 itself. And between the two of them, it is so disorganized with TV. Like, it is. What were those? That little graphic they were putting in the bottom right corner that was covering half the track. I'm like, what are you guys doing? I saw a meme that they were like, F1 graphic designers, I'm crying for you right now, and it was tilted on screen, like someone had dragged it over, and it was tilted. What are you doing? Like, on that sense, and the camera angles, seeing Oscar go across the finish line, not on a little screen. I don't know. These are all things that I feel like are kind of common sense. Yeah. It's not like this is a new thing, and live broadcasting is a new thing. We've been live broadcasting sports for a very long time.
Yeah. And in billions of dollars. I mean, it's not like it's not like drivers. You can't have a rookie mistake. Even if it's your first time doing an F1 thing, you're not a rookie because you're coming from something else.
Right.
Like, there's no way that someone who's new is even putting that little graphic in the corner wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like, what we want to watch.
Yeah.
Show us.
Yeah. It's not hard. I mean, okay, I will say, it probably is difficult because these cars are flying.
Yeah.
And it is, I'm sure it is hard to get good camera angles that is, like, pleasing for the viewer. But, like, I don't need fancy. I just, simple, give me some above shots. show where the action is. And obviously we have F1 TV here. We can sort through all the drivers, which is cool. But then, boom, you lose the live broadcasting, and you don't hear the shit broadcasting from like Crofty and Coulthard or whatever. It makes it more fun hearing it, but that's one of my little tangents. It's ridiculous that they can't get that figured out.
Yeah.
Another one is, again, FIA. Billions of dollars probably caught up within that organization. And it's the biggest group of crybabies. Like, we've already talked about the Carlos Sainz poop fiasco. He had a stomach bug, 5 seconds late for the national anthem, gets fined thousands of dollars, $10,000. Alex Albon, what did he get fined for?
He was impeding his teammate on the track.
Which, in practice one...
No accident.
There was no accident. Nothing happened. It was probably a simple mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of think about it. It was a simple mistake. Nothing did happen. Something could have happened. Someone could have gotten hurt. They fined Carlos Sainz $10,000 for taking a poop and being 5 seconds late, but they only fined someone for endangering someone else. 7,000?
Yeah. Or
7,500? So, where's the logic in that? I don't know. But, I mean, this is the tip of the iceberg. I mean, Ben Sulayem, the swearing, it's just so frustrating to me because all the drivers, they hate it.
Yeah.
And the audience hates it. Like, let the drivers be themselves.
Yeah. I mean, they're the highest performing athletes of motor racing, and it's like, and you're going to make them act like they're in middle school and they can't swear. And they can't.
It's crazy.
I don't know.
I just... Like, where's the respect? The drivers are the ones making these people money.
Yeah.
I thumped my toe on a corner, and I'm like healing over in pain, and I swear up and down the street. These guys are driving over 200 miles an hour, and they're getting into a crash, and they have to say, "Oh, rats!" Are you kidding me? Like, what?
Fart.
Yeah, for real. It's come on. I get that there's some kids watching, but it's a sport. It's life. If they watch American football, they're gonna hear that.
Yeah.
With the live mics and stuff, the hot mics, it's childish. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's like what Max said. It's like, guess what? They might be kids. In a couple of years, they're going to be saying it whether they hear us saying it or not.
Exactly. They're going to hear it. They're going to say it themselves.
Yeah.
And whatever, man.
I mean,
there's F1 Kids, I'm pretty sure. If you're so concerned about it, turn on F1 Kids.
Yeah. I did not know that was a thing.
I don't know if it is. I'm sure it is.
It's just Lego cars.
No. I think they have like kid broadcasting and stuff. I don't know. But if you're so concerned about it, put on. I don't know. If you don't speak Spanish, put on the Spanish broadcast. Yeah. I'm constantly accidentally swiping between the two of them. It drives me nuts. Or I used to when I was watching on Hulu.
Yeah.
That's it for my rant. The FIA is a childish organization and needs to grow up and put on their big boy boots and realize the organization that they're running is what it is.
I feel like people are fired and hired all the time, and it's just the same.
Yeah.
It's the same. Like nothing's changing other than people are crying even more.
Right.
And it's like, then why did we fire the last one if the new one is going to be even more butthurt about everything for no reason?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll see how long Ben Sulayem lasts in that presidential spot. Do you have anything else? I don't know.
So, no, because I can't start talking about next weekend, right?
No, let's not talk about next weekend yet because we'll put out a video for next weekend, like predictions for Saudi Arabia after.
We need to do the predictions for qualifying, and then the night of qualifying, I'll come over and we'll do one for
Yeah.
race.
Yeah.
Because I feel like doing the race, I mean, we don't even know what position they're starting on the grid. Like,
Right.
Lando could start 18th.
Right,
And
exactly.
I didn't even know,
Yeah.
so I chose him to go.
No,
second.
we have to given prediction. Your prediction was great. Fitzpatrick.
Somehow.
Again, it was amazing. But yeah, we definitely need a little bit more knowledge as to like just the general standings and everything as the race start. There's no way to really predict it otherwise. I mean, accurately.
Yeah.
Um,
You know what I love about Bahrain?
I mean, we can always kind of count on Lance Stroll. Well, not always. I don't want to talk about it. His season, I know.
Yeah. And here's another thing I'll say. I can't remember after what race or if it was in the episode that we didn't put out, but I said after the second race of the season, I was like, if you're new getting into Formula One and you're from around where we're from or wherever, if you're from Canada or,
No.
it'd be hard to say, why not Lance Stroll? If you're starting out this year.
Right.
But now I feel like these last two races, he's gone right back into his old self.
Well, and he's
like
in interviews, he's just a bump.
I mean, he's not doing like he used to do, where he's just hitting people and hitting the corner of whatever all the time.
Yeah, but not yet, at least.
maybe he should start so that we start noticing him again. He's so far back. I mean, I didn't even see him on the camera of the race at all last.
He didn't do anything, really.
Yeah.
I saw an interview with him, and it was just like, you had a really good start of the season. These last two races, not so great. What do you have to say? And he's like, yeah, you saw the races.
Yeah.
They're like, well,
where did Alonso finish?
Alonso finish 15th.
Something, yeah. Aston Martin.
They need 2026 to come a lot faster. Driver standings changed.
Lando's still first.
Lando's still first. 3 points behind his teammate, who they are now calling
Oscar's
Max.
Gonna win it. Oscar's gonna win.
I think he might do. He is so he's just been super consistent.
You can't say that Oscar is Max's number 2 driver because Oscar's
that's what people are saying. No, that's
right against Lando, yeah.
Yeah,
but now you gotta worry about Oscar, who's
right. In that sense, yes, but like, if the championship was still between Max and Lando, Oscar, it has been called lately Max's number 2, since he is taking the most points away from Lando at the moment.
Also from Max, so whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Finally, we see both Ferraris above Lance Stroll in their rightful place once again. Lance Stroll still in 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Gasly not far behind in 11th with 6 points. Stroll is 10th, or has 10 points.
I do have a little spiel about Lando, and I've seen a lot of people talking about it, so I don't want to go that deep into it.
Yeah.
But I feel like what they're saying is true, where if he's performing, they're like, oh, yeah, I mean, it's not hard to perform in the best car.
Right.
And then if he's not, they're like, oh, he's just a shit driver. Like, what the heck? Oh, he's sad right now. What a crybaby. Oh, he's winning. What a poor sport. It's like, can he do anything right? Like, as a Lando fan,
it's so painful to have a Lando fan on a podcast. I'm kidding.
I mean, tell me it's wrong.
No, you're not wrong. It's ridiculous how much
he never gets praised.
It's whatever. I mean, he's a great driver. He deserves to be where he's at because he is driving the best.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. But whenever you're the best, everybody's gonna hate you. Nobody liked Max Verstappen. Nobody likes Max Verstappen.
Everyone jumped on the Max Verstappen bandwagon train. No one's jumping on Lando's. I mean,
you jumped on Lando's.
I was on Lando's before he was even a bandwagon.
I mean, after his first win, there was a bit of a bandwagon going on still.
And there was no thought in my mind that he was going to be fighting at all for first.
I didn't think so this year, really.
No, even last year. Like, after he won his first race, I didn't think.
I mean, was there actually a fight, or was that just the drama that people played?
Okay, here's this. I didn't think he would take second in the driver's
Oh, me either.
So I didn't think I was joining any bandwagon.
No.
So.
No, he did really well. And he deserves to be where he's at. Blah, 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 blah. But I love the hate because it's hilarious.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, from a fan of anyone else, it's probably hilarious.
Well, it's just what happens, and I'm prepared to defend Carlos Sainz.
Yeah.
If he becomes,
no one's ever gonna hate.
No, you can't hate Carlos Sainz. You can't hate Carlos Sainz. But when you are a dominating driver, or you're dominating at the time, you're going to get hate no matter what. Max Verstappen is the perfect example of that. Lewis Hamilton, which obviously they both have their respective fan groups, LH and the Verstappen shaggers. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and I'm sure if once Oscar takes the lead, people will be hating on Oscar. If he starts dominating.
I don't think they will. If I'm being honest, I mean, Oscar, the fact that he just doesn't, he's not a confrontational person. He just kind of,
well, and he's always
cool and collected. Yeah. Never, there's even never any.
With his wins, he's not out celebrating. So, when he doesn't show much, because he doesn't in general, it's just like, oh yeah, it's Oscar.
Whereas Lando just shows so much.
Yeah. It's not so much in one way, so much in every way, every direction.
Which, don't get me wrong, don't want him to change.
No, you don't want him to change because they are who they are for a reason. And he's gotten there being who he is. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that's probably a decent place to wrap up on this one. I am curious if anybody does watch this and the previous couple videos. Let us know. Looks wise, between fish tank here, we got a couple options.
Yeah, we got a table we can sit at.
Eventually, I am going to be setting up my basement.
Where we can freeze our butts off.
No, I have planned for lighting as well. Summer, it'll be nice down there. Yeah. We'll be able to do stuff down there pretty easily.
Hopefully one day we can actually react to a race live. I just don't see it coming anytime.
Not anytime soon. We're broke. I'm broke, at least.
I'm broke.
It's not. Don't let it on. But yeah, so let us know, fish tank, couch, something else, video-wise, how was it? Yeah, otherwise, this was episode 3.
Number episode.
I'll leave that in. Episode 3 of the F1A podcast, America's official F1 podcast. Tune in for more. There will be more, hopefully this week.
Yeah. Almost for sure this week.
Yeah, for sure this week. I mean, we have Saudi coming up. So excited for Saudi Arabia. I love Saudi Arabia.
I love playing
Saudi Arabia. Watching it.
I've never watched it. So.
I've gone back and watched some of the old Saudi Arabias. But
isn't this where Max brake checked Lewis Hamilton that 1 year? I think it is.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, we can talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after. But yeah, otherwise, check us out on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, F1A, F1 space EH question mark, news, journalism, podcasts. For one podcast per week for sure, if not more. Probably.
I think one podcast and one video.
Yeah, at least for now.
And then we need to make that the post qualifying video.
Yep. So we'll have a predictions video out this week. Post race podcast. Maybe some other stuff. Just have to check it out. F1A pod and F1A. F1 space EH question mark.
Yeah.
Oh,